We're here. This was Sessions Podcast, episode 3. And Josh and Shay are not here, but I am lucky enough to get David from Forgotten Angels here with me today. Cindy's here too, but she's decided to stay across the room and not jump in just yet. But I'm super happy that you guys made it down. You're doing a little trip around the States right now, or actually up through Canada.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Man, it's been a bucket list item for mine for like forever.
Yeah.
And it's not something you can just do, any old time.
Yeah.
I've been on the road for over 3 weeks now. I left on July 25th and went from, Florida, Georgia, Carolinas, went up through Pennsylvania, New York, and then finally hit Maine, and then went into New Brunswick and into Nova Scotia, far enough to see the Titanic. and then I came all the way across the country to Vancouver and then down to Seattle and here.
Yep. And then Cindy flew in, and you guys have been kind of hanging out in Portland a couple days now. Better than the last trip to Portland, where it was we had the craziest ice storms ever, and you guys were basically locked in the hotel for a few days. That was no fun.
You know what?
That was fun.
I had my wife with me, so, it's not the worst thing in the world to be stuck in a room with my wife.
Yeah, it could be worse, huh?
It could be worse.
Yep.
It could be worse. She could be a pain in the ass, but... Oh, wait, she's right here in the room, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I would never say that. She's easy, man. She's easy.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, she's nice enough to not throw stuff into the...
I know. You're lucky nothing came flying at you, bro.
Yeah, she doesn't want to ruin the cameras or the mics.
Yeah.
No, but it was great the first time we were here. It's even better the second time. The more you get to know the area, the more familiar you are with the way people drive. It's different.
It's different.
But, driving into the foothills with Dominic yesterday, and then today we started off right at the foothills of Mount Hood and drove all the way to Bend, Oregon and around. That was
Killer ride, huh?
Oh, my God,
so beautiful.
If Florida had 1/10 of the rides that are around here,
I know.
We'd have 90% of the motorcycles in the United States in Florida.
100%. But we only get like 3 months of this nice riding weather, and then it's a wrap. I mean, you can ride if you're a true rider. You get
hard.
some good rain gear, but yeah, the rest of the year it's like rain all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys that ride in the rain. I ride, in the rain, a few days here and there. But once it gets super cold and rainy, you see a lot of motorcycles disappear.
Hanging it up, right?
Hang it up,
Yeah.
And then everybody's polishing their bike for the next go round next summer.
Well, the timing of the trip was important, obviously, so I could make it all the way around Canada and the United States without having winter or the summer heat. So this was a perfect time, and it can't have been a better trip. Getting to see family, talking about Forgotten Angels along the way. I even got stopped by a cop. And this is a funny story because he stopped me and he goes, "Do you know how fast you're going?" I said, "Yeah, I was doing 121 in a 90." And he goes, "Exactly."
Dude, you're screaming at that thing.
No, I was going fast. And
Yeah.
so he goes, "What are you going so fast for?" And I said, "Honestly, I was just trying to get somewhere warm before it gets dark." And then he goes, "I see you're from Florida. What was the trip about?" And I told him about Forgotten Angels. I told him that we were going to be starting a Forgotten Angels in Canada, one in Portland.
Yeah.
And so he takes my information, goes back to the car, and he comes back and he literally said, "Your wife got you out of this ticket."
Really?
Yeah, because I told him that Cindy had started the Forgotten Angels that I had worked with Danny Glover and Quentin Aaron prior to working with Forgotten Angels. And so, I give her credit all the time. Whenever anybody asks me about Forgotten Angels, it's her heart, her desire, her focus, and her fortitude that got it all started.
Yeah.
And so I just jumped on the bandwagon, but thankfully this time the bandwagon got me out of a ticket.
Florida cops way different than like the cops out here, because typically like out here 121, like you're in trouble.
Well, it was actually in Canada. It was in
Canada.
It was in Ontario.
Canada?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got stopped by the OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police, which are the equivalent of a state trooper.
Okay.
And the guy was super cool.
Yeah.
As soon as I told him what we're doing, like he literally said to me before he went back, he goes, "Yeah, you're pulling on my heartstrings." And I'm like, "I'm not trying to.
I would be.
I'm literally just telling you what I'm doing and what we're doing." So he was cool. He said, that it's desperately needed.
Yeah, good karma.
It's not just in Florida. It's everywhere that Cindy and I travel to, and the messages that we get from people around the country that are familiar with the work that Forgotten Angels does are always saying, when are you guys going to start a Forgotten Angels in this city, in this city, in this city, in this city? And so, I mean, the goal is to get at least one into every state and then let the states take it from there. Yeah. But I think based on the work that we do, the success that we have, the success stories, kids getting, married, graduating high school, graduating college, going into the Army and the military, for us is just a home run. You know?
Well, seeing what you guys do drew us into going out to Florida, going to the camp out, seeing how many people totally support you guys, and obviously having Josh and Shay on the team here. It's something that we are behind 100%, and we're excited to help try to launch some stuff out here. And you guys are out here with Dom too, and Dom is going to be pushing some cool things for us, and visiting some of the dispensaries that we're in, to push this program that you guys are working with called Harness. And I've been a member of Harness now for probably 6-7 months, and it's nice because I don't have to think about donating all the time. I just know that my change is getting utilized well, that roundup feature. And my wife mentioned it to me the other day. She I don't think I told her I was doing it right. I put it on several of the cards, and she's like, what is this roundup thing? And I explained it to her, and she was like, that is so awesome. What an easy way to help out.
Harness is a great program because, as you mentioned, it allows people to donate without it hurting, without literally digging into their pockets and reaching in and pulling up money and handing it to an organization or somebody that they don't know. I'm one of the crazies. I give money to everybody, and I've been told over the years all you're doing is supporting a habit or something like that, but I don't look at it that way. It's up to that individual to use the money that I give them for good. And so Harness has turned into an excellent program because the average person will donate around $32 a month through Harness. And of course, you're going to have some people that use their card quite sparingly, and might only donate, $15 or $20. But then you have people like myself who use my debit card and my credit cards 8, 9, 10 times a day. And so I'm probably donating, $50 or $60 a month to Forgotten Angels. And so it's the small amounts that make a big difference to us because it's stuff we can count on. We've been so blessed to have Josh and Shay be so supportive of our mission since the day we all kind of collectively met Jared Weems and became a team of fundraisers. It's been fantastic, but you need something that's going to be consistent. And the average person uses their card on an average basis, and we bring in an average amount of money on an average consistent basis. And so what we're trying to do now with Harness is to grow it to where we have somewhere between 1,000 to 1,500 people, which will literally cover our monthly nut to run Forgotten Angels. And then all the revenue that we generate on top of that, we can use to grow the foundation, open other facilities, provide more resources for more kids in more places.
The cannabis community loves to give back too. And we see lots of people on a daily basis, and I've explained, what you guys do, and people get excited and want to donate, and just, getting them included in Harness, it's just such a cool way to do it. And I think, having Dom go out and touch base with all our contacts, and then them, if somebody goes in to make a purchase, now that cannabis is starting to use more different credit card features, we've been a cash business forever. So Harness wouldn't really work, but we're seeing more banks start to take on credit cards and get into the dispensaries. I think it'll really start to work for us here.
What I really like about Harness is that, and of course, many companies are using QR codes for promotions, for advertising, for marketing, for different campaigns. And so we're able to use a QR code where we can create, and actually Josh Ortiz, as we speak, is actually creating a small little 15-second commercial that talks about, how simple it is to register your card and support the local community. So we can have a QR code for every state. So depending on the types of issues, for here, it's the fact that every drug has been decriminalized. and going on the streets, and everybody sees it, so we can create an actual video that talks about harness and how Forgotten Angels can start working to support and end some of the issues that the local cities are dealing with homelessness, at-risk kids, or kids that are aging out of foster care. So, because every state's different.
Yeah.
I mean, every single state is different. I mean, I'm sure if we were to go to Wyoming, the situation is very different because there's less people, but there's always homeless.
Yeah.
There's always kids that are at risk.
So true. Yeah.
So
we have a lot of that here.
For us to be able to use harness on a state-by-state basis where people can just scan a QR code. It'll give a little bit of information about Forgotten Angels. In Oregon, we'll give some information about sessions and how the organizations are working together to deal with some of these issues and how they can support it.
Off the podcast topic here a little bit. So just a question for you. Could we essentially take that QR code and attach it to our packaging?
Absolutely.
That's something we could easily do, or even have a QR code sticker made and just blap it right to the back of the packaging. It'd be nice to have a blurb on the packaging though.
Yeah, people are so used to scanning QR codes now.
Yeah, it's huge now.
I mean, it used to be, I was terrified of scanning a QR code because you didn't know it was going to come up, Yeah. And now I think the credibility that Forgotten Angels has been able to establish for itself over, going into its 10th year will make it such that people are less concerned about scanning a QR code that has Forgotten Angels. The other thing is people are familiar with the name Forgotten Angels.
Yeah.
They don't associate it with, if I scan this QR code that's going to be supporting Forgotten Angels, that they're going to be, raising money for the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, or it's going to go somewhere else, or that's going to create a virus and take over your phone and,
it's a trusted name now.
Exactly. And so for us, the most important thing that we can do in spreading the word is, as we spread the word, we make it very easy for people to know who we are, what we do, why we do it. That individual learns about how they can help us through donating through Harness. But it doesn't have to be through Harness. They can donate directly through the website. They can purchase raffle tickets. Yeah. And we can use QR codes on your packaging for a specific raffle item also.
Wow, that's a good idea. Yeah. I like that.
So
I would be totally game for that.
I think if somebody wanted to donate a Buick, like a custom Buick.
Yeah.
And we could use that.
I like it. We'll add a QR code for that, baby. That's a good idea.
Thanks for bringing that up on the podcast.
I know, right? Force me to. No, I'm all about it. That's something definitely that we're discussing. We have a pretty nice vehicle that would be fun to put up there. I think doing the Buick would be awesome for
I think there's a way we could do it. The video that I showed you, Still I Ride, we're thinking about, I still haven't released
that
it.
Style video?
Yeah, but just a little bit shorter. But talk about the lifestyle for people who use marijuana for whatever reason, whether it's for medical marijuana or recreational marijuana, or for people who are considering trying it for the first time. I think using QR codes and using different marketing campaigns to introduce people to the benefits of marijuana, not the detriments. Sure. Because for years there's been, like we talked about, that negative stigma attached to marijuana, that if you were a pothead or whatever. Yeah. And the reality is that, I use it. Yeah. I'm not ashamed to say that it's, I can't use any product that gives you that sense of euphoria. I've been down that road, never going down that road again. Yes. Because it was a horrible experience.
I gotcha.
But I use it. It helps me fall asleep. I don't have any pain from arthritis. Yep. I can use my hands the way I used to, And
the nice thing about that is that nowadays the way that we've tailored different styles of extracts and whatnot, we can really target different things. We can create a product that's basically for sleep. We can create a product that's better suited for pain. We can create a product that's maybe a little gentler for somebody that's just starting out wanting to try cannabis for different things. It's not gonna put them into a coma right away. There's sativas that can Joe Rogan really took a lot of the stigma away from cannabis because he's a very successful guy that uses cannabis, and there's a lot of people that use cannabis to like help them in their daily lives. I know guys who use different types of sativas and it just kind of helps them through their day, makes them sharper. You have this stigma that you smoke weed, it just makes you stupid, but it doesn't. There's like different types of weed that help you become motivated. I know athletes that smoked before playing basketball because it helps them be more focused in the game. So there's a lot of cool benefits to weed. I think it's changed a lot. I think the stigmas are starting to dissipate. But it's still there. There's still a lot of it, especially in the southern region.
Is there such thing as a non-munchy weed?
Yeah.
So you smoke weed, but you don't gain 20 eating. Pounds. Yeah.
That's called self-control a little bit too. Let's be honest. No, but no, I mean, cannabis does the same thing to me. When I smoke, I want to eat for sure. I'm like, what do we got in the fridge? But yeah, I think taking away the stigmas and things like us wanting to donate and be more of a part of Forgotten Angels and whatnot. I see it sometimes in just comments, right? People are like, with Josh especially, they'll be like, "You're better than that," It's like, but we're just a business too. We're a business. This is essentially prohibition for cannabis, right? It's changing. Florida's going on the ballot to become recreational. And medical has been around for a long time now, but there's some really good properties of marijuana. It's helped a lot of people. It's helped people I personally know. I know it's helped people you guys know, and there's way less like harsh effects even than alcohol. Alcohol is a very, it's one of those subjects that's been around for a long time. You don't have the after effects that you do from alcohol.
I was just going to mention that too, because a lot of the people who have negative things to say about marijuana,
we'll be like, give me a beer.
Yeah, well, really, finish every night off with a 6-pack, and it's like, come on, man. It's pretty hypocritical to use anything has some effect on your body, like weed does or alcohol does, and then complain about one or the other. The reality is there's just too many benefits. Even though it's not big in my world, in my circle, there are enough of my friends and family members that smoke weed or use different types of products that are marijuana based for medical reasons. I think I know more people that use it for that reason than they do for just a high or for a sense of euphoria. And if it can help people, then for God's sakes, are you hearing me, DeSantis? You hear me, DeSantis?
Well, I think
get on the bandwagon.
It's struggled a few times, but I think this time it's got a pretty good shot.
It was very close. It was very close.
It was close. The Republicans, if they would just start, getting behind cannabis, you'd see some big changes, right? But I mean, even the Democrats aren't pushing cannabis.
Maybe Trump's next campaign stop.
He's like,
"Hey guys,
woo, fight!"
Can you imagine Trump up there smoking a blunt?
I know. You know what? He used to be pretty,
I'm sure he does.
Liberal, so I'm sure he does too. Well, you'd be surprised how many people do. Like, I know teachers, police officers, like all of these people that are, supposed to be against cannabis, and so many of them are smoking as we speak.
The president of the United States is one person that can smoke weed for the whole day, do a test, and come out negative.
Yes, he can. He can come out negative. But I'm glad for us. It's been really cool to we've donated a few bikes. We have a couple bikes in storage right now that we're about to break out. We've got a couple more in California, so we're going to continue to keep pushing the raffle thing and raising money where we can. But I really like the idea of pushing harness and getting the QR code thing on our packaging potentially, or doing raffles inside of dispensaries, because there's a lot of cool things. Like, I have a very cool glass piece that we've got. It's actually a beautiful lightsaber.
Okay.
And it's super cool. It's made by these guys by Ninja Glass.
Okay.
It's something I think that we're gonna put up and
what is it, a bong?
Yeah. Okay. It's amazing. Want to see it?
Can you imagine? I'd never in a million years, if I ever thought that I would say the words, "Hey,
careful,
let's raffle a bong."
I know, right? But this bong is like
it's a lightsaber bong.
It's a very expensive.
I saw that earlier. I didn't.
So it's actually a lightsaber. It lights up.
There we go.
And even makes
the sound
all
and
the
everything.
sounds. Yeah. And so the carb is below here at the bottom. And then the glass, you put your glass piece in there, and then you just fire it up right through the top.
That is too cool.
Isn't that sweet?
Do the dispensaries approach you, or do you approach the dispensaries?
So most of our sales happens through a website called LeafLink. This thing, the wholesale up here about 7 years ago now, and I was the only sales rep. And we just had like an acre of flower that we were growing, and I would go out and hit the shops, and we would just sell it by the pound. Okay. Wholesale flower, it was the only product we have. Obviously, we've grown. We built the lab. At first, we would go out and just hit shops. We started as just dabs. We wanted to do dabs the best, right? So we invested in a Lunatech, the best piece of equipment I think that you can basically buy for extracts. We invested in that. We started doing dabs, and we wanted to do it the best, but we also wanted to be the people's brand. Okay. We didn't want to be that product that you have to really dig deep in your pockets to get. There was a lot of expensive extract companies that, we wanted to be the people's brand. Anybody can go in and afford our products, and it won't break the bank. So we started wholesaling our dabs to dispensaries at a very low price. The thought behind it that you're not gonna go out and triple and quadruple the price to the consumer, because the idea is that we're giving that savings back to the people. So don't go, make up all your margins, with our stuff. And they were great about it. The dispensaries have supported us from day one because of that model. And then obviously when we started getting into the pens, we decided to do that and figure out, one, what hardware we could use. We wanted to use the best hardware, create the best product inside the hardware that we could possibly do, and then also give that to the people at the lowest, fairest price. And I know a lot of other companies dislike us for it, for giving it that and being a product that has dropped the market price on a lot of good pens. We want people to be able to get our stuff, and you don't have to spend $50 or $60 for a good all-in-one pen or a good 510 pen. We want to be fair. We want to get it out there, and it's got to be the best. And we really do not settle. Like, I have bins of carts that we've filled that we test, and we don't think they're good enough to go out, and we'll destroy them, because we want to put the best product out there. I've always said our reputation is based on a couple things: the best quality product we can put out and the best customer service. I think we have a great reputation. That helps with lots of stuff, right? It helps with the stigma to people who maybe aren't pro cannabis. They see that, we're not just these shitbag companies that come out and put out crap. We're like, no, we care about this. We understand it's a business, but we also aren't price hikers, and we give it back. And I think Sessions' reputation over the last 7 years, well, Sessions has been here about 5, but we've built a good reputation, and we've built strong ties with different groups that we are like-minded, have the same mindsets we do. That's kind of like how we've built this to this point. And it's been great, and we're only getting better. We keep adding pieces to the puzzle that bring our prices down even more in some cases, or at least allow us not to raise prices in markets that are really tough. Oregon is crazy. Licensing in the OLCC, they opened up the floodgates, and a lot of people came in. A lot of Canadians came in here trying to build a business, and at this point it's weeded itself out a bit. And so now I feel like the strong has survived. Oregon's really one of those states that I think we're producing the best cannabis maybe on earth. There's some great stuff in other states, but I don't know many places that do it better than Oregon.
Well, a couple things. The first thing, those ones that you throw away, stocking stuffers.
Yeah, right?
Christmas is around the corner. The second thing is, you can go.
They are recyclable, just so you know. All right.
You can go to New York, and there's a cheeseburger. They put truffles on it, something like that. And it's like $750.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I think there's one that's over $1,000 also. It's just, I can't remember exactly, but I have to pull it up. Is there a way of producing something that is for the super elites, a cannabis, like where you take a specific blend or I'm not exactly sure of how you would do it. I'm talking about you take a particular blend of weed and then nurture it the same way that they would do like any something other like plant,
and put some gold flakes in there.
I don't care what you do,
but diamonds.
I'm thinking about myself now. I'm gonna have your company develop a specific blend for a dab that costs $500 a pop, and I'm going to sell them.
All right, I like it.
And I'll sell out. I'll have 100 of them.
Yeah.
Each one will be marked. It'll have a logo on it,
labeled and numbered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
could do that.
I'll have some celebrity kiss each one of them. I don't know, something stupid. But honestly, almost everything in the world has something that's opulent and exclusive to the degree that you would think is ridiculous for its cost.
Yep.
When I was working for the Rolls-Royce Owners Club doing a book for them, some of the shit that these people would spend money on is wild. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. And it's just so they can say that they have the best of the best. And so what I'm thinking is I don't know, maybe
let's create the best of the best.
Take manure that comes from Secretariat and that's what it grows in, or something, some stupid shit like that. I don't know. All I'm saying is that if there's this is gonna get cut out.
We could do some cool shit, right? We're like, literally, we got Secretariats of shit in a pot. It's the golden weed. I love it. No, I get it. I know. God. There's some really good ideas.
Find a way.
I saw one
of creating something that nobody else has created.
Yeah.
And then package it in a way that
is spectacular.
Yeah. And then
over the top.
And so for it's $500 and it comes with a full year of charges or something like that.
That's yeah. There's actually I've seen some carts, some super high end stuff the guys have done where they've taken. I mean, it's nothing to the extent that we're talking about, but like they'll take THCA is diamonds, right? Mm-hmm. It's the most purest form of cannabis, mm-hmm. and it literally looks like little diamonds. Yeah. And they'll take those and they'll drop those in a cart, and so and then fill it with the oil, so you're literally looking like you have diamonds in your car, and it does melt, and actually you can smoke it through. Yeah. And those carts are ridiculously expensive.
So those little dabs that Dom had stole from that box over there yesterday.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
the little thingy there.
Yeah.
There was one, and it just happened to fall, and he picked it up and he walked out with it.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
those
the white ones.
The white ones. They're reusable, right?
No.
Oh, they're not.
No.
Is it possible to make one that's reusable?
Well, so that would be like how we do the 510s. Okay. So none of these carts are going to be reusable because you're working off a cotton wick. Okay. And once the cotton's done,
it's done.
It's a wrap.
Okay. Because I'm just wondering if there's a way of creating something, almost like a Zippo, where you can recharge.
So they make them where you can just change out the atomizer.
Okay.
But reuse like the glass and you know what I mean, kind of like a vapor, you see guys who have vape devices. Mm-hmm. All they're doing is swapping out the atomizer.
Okay.
And then they use their own battery. It's essentially we do the same thing with our glass 510 carts, mm-hmm. but still that whole piece gets recycled or thrown away, and so there is waste. And one of the things that I like about some of the dispensaries here in Oregon mm-hmm. is that they have disposals for that type of stuff. I know like a lot of people in Oregon are really about, the earth mm-hmm. and like saving the earth, and lithium is a danger to our landfills. Some of the dispensaries actually are putting like the recyclable all-in-one bins in their locations. And I love that. I wish that more dispensaries would do that, because it really does. It gives people peace of mind that they don't just have to buy that all in one and it just goes in the trash. Yeah. Because it does create quite a bit of waste. So we'd rather sell the 510 carts because there is no lithium in those. They don't just go into the landfills like batteries or whatnot. The convenience of these all-in-ones are amazing. Okay. They fit in your change pockets. You can take them to a concert. Like, there's so many cool benefits to them that I think even the people who are like against that stuff probably have one in their purse or their pocket too.
Does anybody do like a la carte where the product is specifically for pain relief? One is specifically for like that's made just for that, for sleeping. Yeah. Just for, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of companies that will design their oils targeting for specifics, for sure. Like sleep. Wild creates an elderberry gummy that is really like well known, and I think it even may say it on the box, but it's like great for sleep aid. It's really just about gaining that knowledge. You know, I know so many people that are like, man, I'd like to, but I don't know what I'm getting, what I'm buying. Like, I'd like to try something, but I don't know what to get. The beauty is a lot of these dispensaries, Khalifa, some of the dispensaries that we work, most of the dispensaries we work with, if you go into the stores and ask about sessions or ask about other brands as well, the budtenders are super knowledgeable here, and they'll help direct you to like what you're looking for. I've been to some in California. I don't think it's quite like that. They're trying to get you in and out. Okay. But Oregon, they're cool. They cannabis serious here, and they like to talk about it and or go through it with you. And if you're new to it, especially, it's intriguing to them. They want to tell you about it. You know what I mean? But there's a ton of different products that are designed for specific stuff. Yeah.
I think that's probably the way to introduce it to anybody who's skeptical about about using it for the first time, because your experience, what you just explained, it was exactly my experience when I walked in the first time. Got my little marijuana card, walked in there and I said, I don't know shit about anything. And so she was amazing. She sat there and asked me, what was sleep, do you have any issues, do you have any pain? And she asked me if I want any sense of euphoria, and I mean she just literally was able to pick out specific things that would help me, and to some degree it was helpful. Some of it wasn't. Some of this, like there was like one of the DAT pens. She said if you fall asleep, you wake up and just try that and it'll help you fall back asleep again. I'm like, that's the last thing that I think about. So it's it's still sitting there collecting dust on the side of the bed.
See, somebody like you who isn't a big smoker, like that's not something I would ever put you to. Like that's a high percentage oil. Like that's gonna annihilate most newbies. Like really. Okay. Flower is a great way to get introduced to cannabis. Okay. If you can smoke it. If not, 5 milligram edibles. Man, I still take those. Like for bed. I know lots of people who are 50, 100 grams. They can pop tons of different. But for me, I'm 5-10 milligrams. Man, I'll sleep like a baby. Especially if that particular edible is targeted for sleep or pain or whatever I want it for. I don't need much more than that. It's weird. For me, my tolerance over the years seems to have gone the opposite way. Okay. Like I know some people can just like smoke, and they're like, nah, I need more. But for me, a little bit, I get high quick. Wow. It's weird, yeah. So, I mean, everybody's different. Started with nothing. I knew nothing about cannabis. So I was actually in a totally different industry, highly regulated, just like this. I had a gun shop in California, and that was always been my passion. Yeah. I was in shooting sports my whole life, but got out of that and then got invited down by my two best buddies, brought me into this, and I basically moved up here with just my backpack on and started figuring all this stuff out. And it's been such a crazy learning experience, starting from nowhere and trying to figure out how to get into shops and learn about, I mean, I've been a cannabis guy my whole life, but getting involved in it the way I am now, is been crazy. I've dealt with most people in cannabis in Oregon at this point. I know a lot of people. I've met so many cool people in this industry. One of the things that I don't see, and which I think is so cool about us doing this right now, is that there isn't a lot of charity work going on in the cannabis industry, which we could be doing something, So, and I love, this is why, I mean, one, it's been great working with Josh and Shay. They're amazing. Like the way how we were introduced and how we got, to be friends, and now that we're in business together and we're creating some very cool products. I've just got 5 new designs back from Josh today that we're sending in for approval, and they look crazy good. I'm excited to show you. I don't even think I showed you the one. We have one called Eastbound and Down that's coming out that's just sick.
Can cannabis be given away?
No, to an extent. So we can bring samples to the dispensaries, but it's so regulated that everything we do is tracked by tags. Okay. So, for instance, if I create 1,000 grams of extract, I have to log every step of the way. So from the flower going into the Lunatech, that's a processing job that we create. We have to account for every gram that goes into that, and then the extract that comes out, we have to account for every gram, and then we have to list our waste. And then we create tags from there. And let's say we put in 100 pounds of extracts, and we get out, just as an example, 2,000 grams of extract. We have tracked that all the way through, right? And that's all done with their cannabis tracking tags.
Okay.
Once it's ready and it's tested and it's packaged for sale, let's say somebody places an order for 10 of 5 different extracts. We create tags for each 10, and then that goes onto a manifest, and that manifest takes those tags from here to wherever we take it, to whatever dispensary. So, I mean, it's tracked all the way through.
Is that just for liability if somebody were to have, poor reaction to it, or is it just accountability?
Mostly accountability. It's still scheduled drug. It is tracked all the way through.
Yeah.
So
See, that's what I was wondering.
So you can't give it away, but you can give it away, but you create samples, right?
So what if we said
tagged.
we're going to raffle a year's worth of...
Can't do it.
That'd be cool, man.
I know, it would be cool.
We raise millions.
Yeah. Nope, can't do it. You can't do it. So even if I were to go to a dispensary and be like, I want to give away 100 carts. Nope, can't do it.
Wow.
What I could do is I could raffle off a gift card that's good for for any product in the store.
Okay.
But it can't be specific to our product, I believe. I'm not sure the exact details on it. We've actually never, but you cannot give away cannabis. It's just one of those things.
Eventually it'll get there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, the beer started somewhere too. Alcohol was crazily nothing like today, where there's electronics involved. I mean, tags have tracking in them, basically. There's literally electronic tags. The good news is with extracts, there is no expiration date in cannabis.
And that's because there's no air in it and it's very pure, right?
Yeah, I think it's just that once it's in its purest form, it doesn't mold. It's like honey. I guess over time it definitely will turn colors, and there's no
still get high off it.
Yeah, it'll still get you high. But cannabis has come a long way. We've got some crazy good stuff out here in Oregon. All over the country, they're making great stuff.
Yeah.
People have taken the old ways of growing, and the nutrients are better. It's funny though. I see a lot of these. So we still grow outdoor, which all these indoor companies are all trying to replicate the sun.
Yeah.
And it's tough to do. It's tough to replicate the sun. And they grow some really beautiful stuff, but the terpenes and the taste and the quality, it's so tough to beat the sun-grown stuff.
Does that have more to do with where they're actually growing it?
Climate has a lot to do with
what I mean is let's say you're downtown Bend, Oregon, and there's kids and schools and stuff like that. Is that the reason why it has to be grown indoors, to protect people from stealing it? Or
well, there are rules about how far away you have to be from schools and stuff like that. I know that you can't have a dispensary within 1,000 feet from another dispensary here. Okay. It's zoning. It's just certain areas have terrible climate to grow outdoor. Portland is a terrible place to grow outdoor because it rains so much.
Okay.
Rain creates mold. People grow indoor up here in Portland, but Southern Oregon, we get sun and heat, and it's a great little valley to grow. One of the best places on earth to grow outdoor weed, and that's where we're at. We're down, just nestled in this little valley, and we're away from flood zones and things like that. And I think where we're located for outdoor growing is one of the best spots on the planet.
How many states are legal now?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Every year we're tacking on a few new states.
Well, I think
it's tough to get the Bible Belt. They really don't like
Mormons,
cannabis. Yeah, those damn.
Yeah. I want to get some of these Amish men completely wired.
Those Amish dudes smoke, dude. Believe me, they're growing their own stuff. It's clean, probably the cleanest stuff too, because they're not using fancy nutrients.
So as of August 2024, cannabis is legal for medical use in 38 states and 4 U.S. territories.
Yep.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Colombia, it is legal for recreational use in 24 states.
Is it 24 states?
Yeah.
Damn, we're getting there. Halfway there.
Well, with the territories, the territories, the majority of the United States actually is legal. So it's
honestly,
not far away.
Well, once we're able to start state to state transfers.
Yeah.
That'll change everything, because right now Oregon's suffering because we have such an abundance of flower out here, and so many, the OLCC allowing so many different cannabis businesses to come into Oregon. It's a rat race to the bottom.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when we started out, our outdoor flower pounds were like $1,200 a pound. We're lucky to be in the $500, $600 range. And most outdoor flower is going much lower than that.
Can something like that be lobbied to slow them down? Because it sounds like there's more growers than the speed of people that are converting to using it.
Man, I've said for the longest time, I feel like Oregon needs the coalition of farmers to come together, and just this is what we see happening. Is you get some new farms come in, they get some investment money from these outside investors that will help them build these farms, and they grow some great products, and then they go out into the market and they realize that the market's been, like these companies all have their staples now, and it's so tough to break into the Oregon market now.
Yeah.
So they go out, they try to sell their stuff, they can't do it, and they're forced to dip the prices like massively, and then they can't pay their investors back, and they can't profit. And 2 years later, they're folding, and the staples are still here.
I wonder if if there are any states where it's legal to grow it but not legal to smoke it.
Totally
the thinking behind it is getting prepared for when they legalize it.
Yeah.
Because it's just a weed. And it can't cost that much to grow. I'm sure to grow good quality, obviously, it takes time and good climate. But
it's expensive. You'd be surprised. Water alone, and for us, one of the trials and tribulations that we have every year is water rights. Something like us, we have backups to backups, right? We have a well, we have a lake, we have all this water. And we go through insane amounts, to the point where we drain our lake. We almost run our well dry, and we're fighting water with the wineries and the
truckload
people.
Of Evian.
And then the next thing you know, we're having to go get water trucks and have that water shipped in. And let me tell you, that's not cheap. We bought our own water truck so that if we need to, we can go out and source water.
Yeah.
So these are things that we run into every year that are crazy and end up costing us a fortune. And us being in good position. Imagine some of the guys who don't have the same luxuries we do.
Yeah.
I mean, it ends up costing them a fortune, and then they got to go out and sell their weed for $200 a pound.
Yeah.
And have it trimmed, which trimming a pound of weed is like $100.
Yeah.
So if you're selling your weed for $200, you have to pay all that money to grow it.
So
you're making nothing.
Yeah.
So if you don't pivot and find another way to utilize, extracts, or growing weed in Oregon today, it's tough.
So where's the next best state to?
Well, California's doing pretty well.
California.
It depends on. It's
legal in California.
California, I know that Michigan was doing really well for a while. New Mexico has kind of taken off. They've been that on fire state a little bit right now.
Are you paying attention to what's going on locally in the different states to see which one's primed to
go next? Yeah, we pay very close attention to Florida. Yeah. As you know, we're definitely hoping for the best in Florida. There's some real opportunities for us there, so we're watching that. We have friends in lots of different states. The idea for us is that when national happens, because it's inevitable, it will. It's just a matter of when. How fast can we get distribution into those states?
Okay.
And still keep our price points where we want it to be.
Do you have any idea what the cost of a license is going to be in Florida?
No idea.
There's no way to know. Idea.
No. Licensing here is very expensive.
Well, I was asked about an opportunity to invest, and they were talking like $80,000 for a license. For a license, I'm like, yeah, no.
That's a lot. That's startup money right there.
Well, at that kind of price, you need like $250,000, $300,000 just to
get going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because obviously, we would love for it to happen in Florida.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's the problem. No federal banking, right?
Yeah.
So you have to go, if you're going to do it, you have to go find money the hard way, right? or have somebody with some capital go to the sharks and take massive hits on interest. I mean, this is what happens here. Yeah. And that's why people, it's so hard to be successful in Oregon. The banks aren't lending anything. Yeah. I mean, where do people find money? You know, they got to go out to
find dark money.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And then you have to be successful in what you're doing in order to pay those guys back. Exactly. And they put personal guarantees on that stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, we're hoping that it happens in Florida. For an organization like ours that consistently needs money on a regular basis, you know, it seems like one of the most lucrative.
I don't know a lot about Florida's like growing climate. I know that, you know, you guys have a lot of humidity, which is is not great for outdoor weed. It can be great to do. You get a lot of sun, so greenhouse would be, you know, probably the way to go if you're going to grow on a larger scale. Indoor doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me because that you're scaling down so much, you know. Indoor places do really well if you've got a couple $1 million to invest. That's what it takes. Like Cookies is right next door to me here, their whole growing facility, and they've got millions into it, and it's amazing. Yeah. That's quite this startup, you know. They've got tons of people that are involved in that and lots of money behind it.
Gangbusters when Florida opens up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, they're so connected through, like, you know, different rappers and Burner and these guys that they're just backed by a ton of money, so they can do that. You know, we started this thing with just a couple guys, built a small acre of flower, and it's grown naturally to what we are now. But I think that, you know, us venturing into other states is the next natural step for this, and doing it in a state like Florida would be really cool. Yeah. I think having a dispensary would be the way to go personally. Okay. Like opening up a brick and mortar like dispensary in Oregon would be a really great way to get into cannabis, because, you know, at some point we'll be able to ship our products all through the states, and then, you know having a direct line of our products into a dispensary would be massive.
I almost liken it to like when, like, for example, my brother was on The Voice in Canada, and because he already had a band, Brian and the Blues Storm, as soon as he was out of the contract and was able to do what he wanted to do, he was able to be booked immediately.
Oh, really?
And you know, going from like $600 to $800 a night to like $10,000 to $12,000 a night. You know,
that's a big jump.
And so I would imagine that because you guys already have a foundation, that when it does open up, you'll be probably seen favorably, you know, to actually start shipping stuff into other states.
Yeah, I think so. Our name out here is growing fast. Yeah. And it's only because we do things like stand behind our products and really put out the best stuff. We'll get to a point where we'll be able to, when we ship, I think our name will be strong enough to like really carry us into the other states. Cool. I just think opening a dispensary in Florida would be just perfect. Yeah. You know, because here's the thing. A lot of people are going to start growing in Florida. You're going to see a lot of extract companies pop up. Even an extract business would be great. But in order to be a really successful extract business, you gotta have a farm behind you. Yeah. You know, and so again, you're talking about a ton of investment money, but a dispensary license, that's something I think we could do.
So what's the best way for people to find your product specifically?
Jump on our website. We just started a new website, Sessions Cannabis Extracts. We list all the dispensaries that we're in there. Messaging us on IG, again, Sessions Cannabis Extracts. We've got, you know, people that will answer you there. We got, if you can leave a message on our website, we answer you there. We're trying to get better at the whole social media game. This is not something that we get so caught up into the day-to-day that social media falls to the wayside. But we've brought on a ton of really good people that are social media, like, you know, not, I wouldn't say experts, but way better. You know, bringing in some youth that's into it, and you know, Shay's kind of taken over some of our stuff on Instagram too. So
and you guys have won some awards too for your product.
We won the High Times Cup for Best Outdoor in 2019. With our Forbidden Fruit. It's like one of the most amazing strains I still think on the planet Earth today. It's phenomenal. And then this year we just started launching pens like a year ago, we won the Oregon Leaf Bowl, which is, to me, the most we don't enter a lot of these shows because some of them are just bullshit, right? Like, there's no real substance. They've got packages that they send out to their friend. It seems bought and paid for. I'm not saying they are, but it feels that way to us, and so we're selective of what shows we enter. But the Oregon Leaf Bowl, like, it's seemingly run right. Like, they do their judges packages right, and this is the first time we've entered extracts as only extracts, no flower, into a contest like that, and we won first and second for best BHO cured resin pen, which is what we do best. And yeah, man, I'm proud of that. It's great. You know, we had one of the strains was Trinity Mimosa, and it's I think it's sold out. We did like 3,800 pens. They sold out in like 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of 50-year-old pothead you have to be to become a judge?
I know, right? You know, that's the cool thing. Anybody can become a judge, but you have to pay for the judge's kit.
Okay.
And it's like, I don't know, it's like $500 or something, and then you get like a ton of cannabis products.
I can imagine you.
And then you gotta remember what you're smoking and take notes. Who knows if it's all, you know? But yeah, I think the Oregon Leaf did it right.
Sessions.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, you know what? The fact you guys are award winning, it means something to people who, you know, especially for somebody who's going to, for the first time, foray into this field and try and find products that will work for them, whether it's recreational or medical. Yeah. You know, having you know, some awards, it does mean something to a lot of people.
No, I agree. It definitely helps the reputation. The beauty of the way they're doing cannabis now, all our products are tested through labs. I say it all the time, like, yeah, you can still find black market stuff out there. A lot of people still sell weed on the black market. But you know that you get something from a dispensary, it's been thoroughly tested. You know your THC percentages. You know your terpene percentages. You really do know, you can tell what you're getting. Yeah. And it's just a way safer way to do things. Yeah. Not that people, there isn't some great weed on the black market, but, you know, it's fairly priced in the stores. And for us especially, you're getting, like, I think some of the best products you can buy.
You know what? I found out that fentanyl is used more in weed than any other of the drugs.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Like, is it
black market fentanyl?
Really?
Black market weed.
So like lacing the weed with fentanyl?
Yes.
That's crazy. Really?
Well, that's the whole reason why people should be.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. So for me, pesticides that people, because like bugs are a real problem for outdoor weed. And if you don't figure out a way to kill those bugs, you don't want to smoke that. I don't want to smoke bug-filled weed or weed that's been sprayed with like pesticide that can harm you over time. I want some trusted stuff. Like, you know, I want my mom who has like severe back issues to smoke something I know is going to be healthy for her. Yeah. Isn't going to come back and she's going to, you know, have a twitch later because she smoked some, you know, freaking sulfur laced product or whatever it may be. But yeah, no. Yeah, that's why I really do believe in the testing. I think some of the testing is subjectively done out here. Yeah. I don't know if it's subjective, but like testing is weird in Oregon. Testing's weird everywhere. Yeah. So we could essentially send our extracts out to pre-labs, which is what we use, and I think they're one of the best out there. And we get a THC number. And I could send that same sample to another lab, and we could have like a completely different THC number. Okay. The labs, I think, are still working out some of their
things. The most important thing is somebody's accountable for the quality and the safety of the product.
That's the whole idea.
And that's the whole reason why it needs to become not just legalized but regulated. To where you know, people can start selling products on the street if they want to. You know, I mean,
they always will. I feel like.
Well,
you're not gonna get away from that.
Yeah, there's always gonna be like, hey.
Yeah. You want to buy a Rolex?
Yeah, exactly. That's not going anywhere. What about the next podcast, man? When's the next podcast gonna be?
I don't know. Josh Shea is supposed to be coming back in a couple of weeks, and I think we'll do the next one then. Hopefully, we get you back too. And maybe we can do like another one with all of us.
We did about 400 miles today.
Yeah.
On the motorcycle.
So how many miles are you in right now, total?
About 8,500.
Really?
Yeah.
And you still have a long way to
Another
go.
3,000. It's about three. Well, depending on the riding around it, we'll do probably another 4,000. So I'll be upwards of 12,500 miles by the time the trip's done.
Is Cindy gonna ride back with you?
I don't know.
All the way back to Florida?
That's what she says.
Yeah? Dude, I love that.
Yeah. It'll take a little bit more time because
More rest.
on my way here I did back-to-back iron butts.
Yeah, I know. You'll just ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but we're gonna go down Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah,
And
beautiful.
So she's been wanting to see a seal, so
It's the little things.
we'll definitely
right?
see some seals down there. We'll go to San Francisco, go to Yosemite,
Okay, you're gonna go down to San Francisco?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
and then she has no desire whatsoever to go to California again.
Well, you're gonna go to San Francisco though, right?
Well, sorry, Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, stay away from LA.
Yeah.
There's no need to go to
no,
LA.
California's beautiful. Los Angeles just sucks balls.
It does. It sucks balls. The traffic sucks balls. Like, yeah. No, steer clear. San Francisco's gotten bad too, though. But there's still some really beautiful parts.
We
of
got to
San
stay out
Francisco.
of Lancaster, California, because there's still a pound of Shelby's flesh on the road.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Why did you get in an accident on there?
No, man, you didn't know Shelby was hit and run when we were on our way back from California. Shelby and I drove to Los Angeles, went to Born Free to support Weems,
Okay.
and on our way back, this drunk driver ran right over Shelby.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, right in front of us. She almost hit us twice. And then I put my hand up like this to tell Shelby to move over. When he finally saw it, it looked like a roundabout to me, but he just turned like this, and she went right past me, almost hit me on the side,
Really?
and rolled right over Shelby. And then once she got over him, she took off. And
Did she really?
I had to chase her
Did
down.
you get her license? Or you
No, I
got
chased her down. Yeah, man. I was on my the concourse, the Kawasaki concourse. She couldn't get away from me.
No,
No,
she didn't
so
get away.
I drove. I don't know.
Did the cops come and get her?
Eventually, they sent. They first 911 hung up on me twice, telling me that we know about the accident, and then finally, when I started swearing at them,
Yeah.
they sent an ambulance first, and then they sent a regular a sheriff, and then state troopers after that. But he was beat up pretty bad,
Man.
so I was just not the best.
Was the bike
experience.
done?
Oh, we've never seen that again. They took it off on a wrecker, and that was the end
That
of
was it?
Yeah.
What was he on?
He was on a ST 1100, a Honda, the sport touring.
Was it his? Or
No, it was mine.
it was yours?
yeah. No, you
Hey.
know what? I'll be honest with you.
The black one?
No, it was a red one.
Oh, it was a red one,
Yeah,
okay.
I haven't thought about it, nor will I. I was more concerned with Shelby. Being
Obviously, yeah, I know that.
But he was.
He got beat up pretty good.
Yeah,
Did he make the
five
rest?
broken ribs, broken
Oh,
collarbone, a shit ton of road rash, and man, he went through a half a bottle of Jack Daniels that night, and I was like,
yeah.
"Good on you, man."
Yeah,
because
yeah. What else are you gonna do?
Well, he couldn't sit down, he couldn't lay down, he was just in so much pain.
Yeah, man.
So, but he's
Speaking of wrecks, I just had lunch with Abel, who was in that wreck.
Oh, yeah.
He was Josh. I just had lunch with him.
How is he?
We hit the Red Lobster the other day.
Is he-
He's doing amazingly
Really?
good. I think he still has some soreness and some issues. He said his body's never felt the same since.
it probably never will.
He probably never will. Like he feels, it felt like his organs have moved, and that he hasn't felt comfortable in his body.
Really?
So I'm sure over time you'll start to get feel a little better. But man, he was out riding, savage. Got back up on that bike and we hit a little ride.
Best way to do it. Hey,
He's a great guy,
Yeah.
totally great guy. So I'm glad he's back and riding. And
That's cool.
yeah,
Well, the next time we come up, we'll definitely have to do some riding for sure.
I know we didn't get to do. Well, we still have a couple days. What day are you guys leaving?
We're out of here tomorrow.
Oh, you're leaving tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Take the day off.
Huh? I can take the morning off tomorrow. We'll figure it out.
You take the morning off?
All right, cool.
I'll disconnect that trailer for the first time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
8,000
You haven't
miles.
disconnected it once. You've
Right.
driven with that trailer everywhere. We went to Bend with the trailer.
Yeah.
I love it,
Yeah.
dude. You say you don't even feel that thing behind
Not
you,
with
right?
a Goldwing. If you were driving a smaller bike, you'd feel it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you slow down and take off. But the bike is so heavy. With me on it, we're over. It's like 1,300 pounds.
I was wondering if it made you feel more, almost like having like a trike. Like, does it make you feel more stable? Actually,
at higher speeds, it's actually quite stable.
Yep.
Yeah. Where you would get those like little wind shifts with the trailer on the back, almost trying to pull it back as it because it's dragging. So as soon as where you're going steady or accelerating, if you can't feel it at all. But we just went around about 5,000 turns today, and you can't tell it's back there.
Really?
Yeah, and it's full. It's full. I think.
Well, I saw it. Yeah.
Between the trailer and the stuff, it's got to be 350, 400 pounds. And it pulls like nothing.
Pulls like nothing.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I saw Josh pull a boat with a freaking gold wing, dude. You guy's a maniac.
Oh wait, Josh, as you're editing this, you're crazy.
I know he's crazy.
Crazy.
Dude. What was he doing?
You know what?
Freaking.
I was driving my truck down Pearson, and as I got to Bloomingdale, it kind of turns like this, and Josh turned right in front of me. So I literally cut somebody off so I could get right behind him. And when you're driving behind him, you can't see the bike at all. All you can see is the top of his head and boat.
And boat?
And boat, yeah, the whole boat. And I'm sure people are going, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Dude, he's a maniac, bro.
Hey,
this is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Hey,
he did it, though.
Listen, you know what?
He proved you can ride on a gold wing and take a boat with you.
You know what?
I don't know.
He certainly did.
Yeah.
He certainly did.
Yeah. Well, listen, I love you, man. I'm glad you got to come out. I hope we'll have to do this way more often, get you out and
yeah, we love it out here. We love you, your wife, your kids. They're all great.
I appreciate it.
Everybody has been super nice to us. Hotels have been pretty cool. Also, we've had some great stays.
Yeah.
We actually got as far up Mount Hood as you can actually go before we actually had to turn back around and come around.
Yeah.
So that was pretty amazing. And then we just started to drive, ended up in Bend, and then came back, and it was like 150 miles to get back.
I can't believe you went all the way to Bend today. That's pretty crazy, dude.
No, it was.
It's a beautiful rip,
spectacular.
Huh? Yeah.
Like every minute, we loved every minute. We stopped quite a few times to take pictures and to do some stuff, but it was.
Yeah, Tom rode with you the whole way too?
No, he was working today.
Oh, you worked today? Oh, nice. By the way, Tom's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to integrate him into this whole thing and start, getting him done.
It'll work. He's good people.
Yep. Awesome. To the next one, huh?
All right, guys.
All right.
Adios.
Peace.
Wow.